The story of Sambhaji, son of Shivaji Maharaj. Rajgarh, the Maratha stronghold, wore a desolated look. It was the year 1666. Shivaji and his little son Sambhaji were little far away in Agra, prisoners of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. The kingdom was meanwhile in the care of Shivaji's mother Jijabi. She was thinking and praying, Lord, help my son and grandson to come home unharmed. Then one day Jijabi's maid rushing into her room said, Rani Sahib, two medicants are waiting outside to meet you. Jijabi said, Send them in, I'll be happy to see them. The medicants came and touched her feet. Then one of them took off his cap. Then Jijabi identified him. It's you, my son. Shivaji Maharaj said, Yes, mother, it is me. Give me your blessings. It is Maharaj Shivaji, thought the maid. Then Jijabi was inquiring, So you managed to escape from the Mughal prison? I knew you would succeed, but where is Shambhu, my grandson? Shivaji Maharaj hesitantly responded, Mother, please brace yourself. I have some bad news for you. Shambhu died on the way. Jijabi couldn't bear the news. My Shambhu is dead? The news spread rapidly. The citizens of the city were discussing, Maharaj Shivaji's son is dead, do you know? Sambhaji is dead? What? Finally, the rumor reached Mathura, where the Deccani Brahmana Kashipant was living at the time. He was thinking, it is the right time to leave now for Rajgarh. Accompanied by a 9-year-old boy, Kashipant set out on the long journey to Rajgarh. One day, when they had stopped at a rest house to refresh themselves, two Mughal soldiers entered suddenly. They were thinking to themselves, I have seen that boy somewhere. His face seems familiar. He was asking the Brahmin, Who is this boy? The Brahmin responded, He is my sister's son. The Mughal soldier was not convinced. You are lying. He is the boy we are looking for, Sambhaji, the great Shivaji's son. The Brahmin denied. No. He is my nephew. I tell you, believe me. The caretaker of the rest house also intervened. Leave the poor boy alone. Don't you know Shivaji's son is dead? The Mughal soldier replied, That's what Shivaji wants us to believe. We are not fools. The Brahmin again said, I don't know what you are talking about, but I do know that this is my nephew. Then the soldier asked, Then prove it now. Then the Brahmin asked again, How can I prove it? The soldier thought for a moment, then said, I have it. You are a Brahmana, so if the boy is really your nephew, you can have no objection to sharing a meal with him. The Brahmana said, In fact, we were about to sit down to lunch. The soldier said, Then go ahead in front of my eyes. The Brahmana and the boy were served lunch. So the Mughal soldier thought, No Brahmana will eat with a non-Brahmana, even out of love for his king. Yet I wonder. The soldier, again probing the Brahmana, said, Now eat from your nephew's plate. If you really are his uncle, you won't mind doing that, would you? The Brahmana responded, A Brahmana does not eat from another man's plate, not even from his own son's. I will, however, to clear your doubts, will do that. Kashipant took a morsel from the boy's plate. The Mughal soldier intervened, Pardon us for troubling you. Much to Kashipant's relief, the soldiers then left. The Brahmana said, Don't waste your time looking for Shivaji's son. I tell you, he is dead. The two travelers resumed their journey. At last they reached Rajgarh. Jijabi was welcoming her grandson. Shambhu, my dear. Sambhaji was so happy to rejoin with his family. Was it indeed Sambhaji? Jijabi looked accusingly at Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji Maharaj was apologizing to Jijabi. Pardon me, mother. I couldn't tell anyone, even you, that Shambhu was safe till he actually reached home, or the plan might have misfired. Sambhaji said, Father is right, Jijabi. There were soldiers looking for us everywhere. Shivaji Maharaj continued, The Mughals were looking for two of us together. So Shambhu and I parted company at Mathura to put them off the scent. Jijabi was relieved. Thank God, my Shambhu is safe too. Kashipant was rewarded handsomely by Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji Maharaj said, "These gifts are hardly adequate to repay you. I shall be ever in your debt." Later, Shambhu, now that you are back, you must resume your education. So said Jijabi. Sambhaji said, "But Aji Sahib, I have been studying all the time. In Agra and Mathura, I improved my Hindi." Sambhaji said, "I can now write poetry in Hindi as well as I can in Sanskrit." Jijabi was so glad. "Shambhu, read some of your poems to me now." Shivaji Maharaj said, "Son, this is not the time for poetry. You must concentrate on your military training." Sambhaji agreed. "I will, father." Jijabi intervened. "Why do you say that, Shivba? Are you planning to recapture our lost forts?" Shivaji Maharaj answered, "Yes, mother, but not right now. I need time to reorganize my army." To buy peace, Shivaji agreed to accept Aurangzeb as his overlord. Sambhaji represented his father at a formal function held at Aurangabad by the Mughal prince Shah Alam. The Mughal prince welcomed them. "As a mark of appreciation, I present you with an elephant and this jeweled sword." Sambhaji accepted. "I am deeply honored." Later, when Sambhaji returned to Rajghat, Shivaji Maharaj asked him, "Good, now we have peace to prepare for war." The peace lasted 3 years, long enough for Shivaji Maharaj to make his preparations. Then the Marathas struck again and won back the forts earlier surrendered to the Mughals. The people rejoiced when, in 1674, Shivaji Maharaj was crowned Chatrapati Shivaji at Rajghat, the capital, and Sambhaji was declared crown prince. Only Rani Saurabai, Sambhaji's stepmother, was unhappy. She was thinking, "Today Sambhaji is the crown prince, tomorrow he will be the Chhatrapati, and what about my son Rajaram?" She thought to herself, "Rajaram should be the next Chhatrapati, not that wastrel Sambhaji." But Saurabai could do nothing, for Sambhaji was the favorite of Rajmata Jijabai. Sambhaji said, "Aji, do you know certain officials extract taxes even from those exempted from paying them?" Jijabai said, "Shambhu, you must bring this to your father's notice immediately." "I will, Aji. Most certainly I will. I have already warned the culprit to mend his ways." Jijabai said, "Shambhu, you have done the right thing." Sambhaji continued to take an active interest in the administration with his father's approval. This made Saurabai all the more unhappy. She was overhearing their conversation and thought, "He is becoming increasingly popular and the Rajmata dotes on him. My son has no chance unless I do something to stop this." Then suddenly one day Jijabai died. Shivaji Maharaj and Sambhaji were very much devastated. It was a terrible blow for Sambhaji. It was Jijabai who had brought him up. He had lost his mother when he was hardly 2 years old. Sambhaji got over the shock and continued to help his father in the matters of administration. However, he began to feel lonely. He was thinking, "With whom shall I talk now? Aji is dead. My wife is but a child. My stepmother has no affection for me. As for my father, he is busy with his own work all the time." In his spare time, Sambhaji wrote poetry. It was his love for poetry that brought him and Kalash, the poet from Mathura, together. One day they were discussing, "Kalash, listening to your poetry, my worries become more bearable." Kalash said, "Forget those worries, prince. Enjoy yourself. Be merry." Sambhaji also discussed his personal problems with his friend. One day he was saying, "Father is leaving shortly on the Karnataka expedition. While he is away, my stepmother is bound to create trouble for me, Kalash." Kalash was consoling him. "She will not succeed. Come, listen to this poem I have just composed for you." Meanwhile, Saurabai had already begun to put her schemes into action. She was telling Shivaji Maharaj, "I am not at all happy with Sambhaji. He spends all his time with that idle fellow Kalash." Thus manipulating Shivaji Maharaj, she continued, No, Maharaj, I know how you love your elder son, but I consider him a bad influence on Rajaram. Shivaji Maharaj thought, my wife does not like Sambhaji. The two are bound to clash during my absence. I will send him away from here to avoid this. Before leaving, Shivaji Maharaj sent for his son. He ordered his son, I want you to look after the administration of Shringarpur. But Shambhaji was disappointed. He thought to himself, that looks like an excuse to send me away from the capital. He asked, why don't you answer, son? Will you go immediately or not? Shambhaji agreed. Yes, father, yes, I will. Shambhaji poured out his pent-up feelings to Kalash. He said, is this fair, Kalash? As a crown prince, my place during my father's absence is here in the capital, not in far-off Shringarpur. Kalash was telling, your stepmother must be behind this. I am sure she is plotting to have her son Rajaram crowned instead of you. Shambhaji said, who can dare to deprive me of my inheritance? I may be sent out of the capital, but I will be back at the right time. Shambhaji went to Shringarpur with his wife Yesubai. Soon after their arrival, he received a message from the Dilar Khan, the Mughal commander in the Deccan. Shambhaji was telling his wife, Yesubai, Dilar Khan wants me to join the Mughals. Yesubai said, joining the Mughals? Whatever gave him the idea that you would do that? Shambhaji said, when the crown prince is sent away from the capital, people do get ideas. Yesubai asked, what will you say to him now? Shambhaji said, don't you know my answer? Father has sent me to Shringarpur, so I stay here. In Shringarpur, Shambhaji found time to study mythology, history, literature, and political science. He also composed a Sanskrit work, Buddha Bhushan. When he read the first few verses to Yesubai, she was surprised and exclaiming, you have described your father's ideal of Swaraj in such a beautiful language. He will be very happy to listen to this work. Shambhaji also toured extensively and reprimanded erring officials. You hold office to help the people, not to exploit them. You must be just and considerate, said Shambhaji to his authorities. This caused much resentment among them, and some of them complained to Saurabai. The prince has undermined our authority. The people of Shringarpur no longer respect us. Saurabai said he should have shown better sense. I will inform the Maharaj on his return. When Shivaji Maharaj returned from his campaign, Saurabai was telling him, Maharaj, the officials and ministers are very unhappy with Shambhaji. Shivaji Maharaj asking, I will speak to Shambhaji. After all, he is young and inexperienced. Talking to him won't help at all. He has antagonized everybody in the country. He does not know how to carry the people with him. But look at our Rajaram. He is loved by all. Shivaji Maharaj thought to himself, my wife has made up her mind to hate Shambhaji. Meanwhile, Shambhaji was waiting at Shringarpur for a message from his father. He was thinking, Father has returned from the campaign weeks ago, yet he has not sent for me. Finally, a message did arrive, but not the one he was hoping for. Shambhaji was telling his wife, Yesubai, Father wants us to go to Sajjan. But why? Doesn't he want to see me? Yesubai said, it's not for us to question your father's orders. He knows what is good for us. Shambhaji went to Sajjan, but he was not happy. Yesubai, we are idling away our time here while my stepbrother is poisoning father's mind against me. Yesubai said, but your father won't listen to her. But Shambhaji was not convinced. He won't listen to her? I have heard rumors that he wants to divide the kingdom into two parts, and he wants to give the larger part to Rajaram and the smaller one consisting of Karnataka to me. Yesubai denied this rumor. I don't believe in it, my dear. Shambhaji said, I too don't want to believe this rumor, but suppose it is true, what then? At this crucial point, Dilar Khan renewed his offer. Shambhaji was confused. Should I say no again or? Shambhaji spent a restless night and thinking, My father does not even want to see me. My stepmother positively hates me. The ministers resent me. I want to get away from every one of them. The only person who mattered to me here is unfortunately dead. Oh, Aji, what do I do now? Morning, Sambhaji was rushing into the room and telling his wife, Yesubai, I have made up my mind. I will accept Dilarkan's offer. I need help against Saurabhai's machinations. But how can you trust the Mughals? They have always been our enemies. Sambhaji convinced her, there is no such thing as a permanent friend or foe. The Mughals shall be my friends till I achieve my goal. Besides, I have no real choice in this matter. Sambhaji and Yesubai went to Mahuli and took a holy dip at the confluence of the rivers, Krishna and Vena. Later, they went towards the Mughal camp. Dilar Khan rode from his camp to receive them. He was telling, I assure you, Sambhaji, we will give you all the help you need. We want your friendship. Meanwhile, Shivaji Maharaj was informed of Sambhaji's treachery. Shivaji Maharaj was telling, my own son has joined our worst enemy. I cannot believe he could be capable of such a despicable act. Saurabai was telling, my fears have come true, Maharaj. And she was thinking, now my husband will disown him. My son will be the future king. Then came the news of the fall of Bhupalgad when Pirangoji, the chief of the fort, gave a detailed account of the battle against Dilar Khan and Sambhaji. Maharaj, we tried to save the fort, but it was impossible for we could not use cannons. Why didn't you use our cannons, Pirangoji? Maharaj, Sambhaji Raj was leading them. He would have been harmed. But Shivaji Maharaj said, you should have shot the traitor dead right there. Later, when Shivaji was alone, he was thinking, all the same, he is my son and successor. Sambhaji is young and foolish, but sooner or later he will come to his senses. I believe in him. Meanwhile, Dilar Khan and Sambhaji were marching towards Bijapur. The Dilar Khan was telling Sambhaji on the way, the Sultan of Bijapur is but a child and Siddhi Masood the regent is not powerful. Sambhaji said, we should have no difficulty in taking Bijapur now. But soon they received a disturbing news. The messenger said, Shivaji has rushed 2 contingents to Masood's help. But Dilar Khan was persistent. Never mind, we will press forward. But Dilar Khan had soon to change his plans. Your father has sent his men to ravage your territory. I have decided to raid the Maratha territory to draw away your father's troops. Let's capture Parnala, said Dilar Khan to Sambhaji. Dilar Khan was irritated at his recent failure and vented his anger against the innocent populace on the way. We will take all of them prisoners unless they agree to pay a ransom. The people were helpless. Oh, spare my poor children. Sir, several bankers and rich people have taken shelter at Tikota, said one messenger. Dilar Khan said, oh, then we march on to Tikota then. At Tikota, the Mughal soldiers were harassing the citizens. Tell me where you have hidden your wealth, or your life is as good as lost. Spare these poor people, Dilar Khan, Sambhaji intervened. But Dilar Khan said, don't be timid, Sambhaji. To build a kingdom, you must have a heart made of granite. In Athni, Dilar Khan's soldiers went on the rampage again. The people turned to Sambhaji. We appeal to you in Maharaj Shivaji's name. Please save us. Sambhaji said, I want to help you. This massacre was certainly not what I intended. Sambhaji strode into Dilar Khan's tent and said, Dilar Khan, you must stop this at once. We should not harass poor people. But Dilar Khan got angry. How dare you order me like this? I am the master here. Sambhaji said, I am here as your friend, not as your subordinate, and I would rather walk out of your camp than compromise my self-respect. Dilar Khan thought to himself, poor prince, he does not realize that it is not as easy to walk out of the Mughal camp as it is to walk into it. At Sambhaji's tent, he was telling his wife, it was folly to join the Mughals. Now I find that Dilar Khan has no intention of letting me go free. Yesubai said, then we must leave immediately before he tightens the noose around us. But where can we go? Yesubai said, we can go to your father. He will pardon you. That night, Sambhaji and Yesubai, disguised as soldiers, escaped from the camp. At Panala, our prince has come back. Shivaji's soldier welcomed Yesubai and Sambhaji at the fort entrance. Shivaji, who was at Rajghat, came to meet his son. Father and son were reconciled at Panhala. Shivaji Maharaj said, you shouldn't have joined my enemies to fight for the kingdom, which you will inherit after me in any case. Sambhaji was ashamed. Father, the past is bad dream. Now let's forget it. I only seek your forgiveness. Shivaji Maharaj stayed with his son for a few weeks, but soon he had to return to Rajghat to attend Raja Ram's marriage. Shivaji Maharaj said to Sambhaji, now I have to go back, but remember the kingdom I have built belongs to you. Sambhaji said, I will try to be worthy of it, father. Later, Sambhaji was telling his wife, Yesubai, did you notice that father didn't ask us to attend Raja Ram's marriage? Yesubai said, perhaps he thinks that this is not the right time for us to visit Rajghat. Sambhaji agreed. You are right, my stepmother wouldn't like it. In fact, Saurabai was at the time trying hard to bend Shivaji Maharaj to her way of thinking. She was trying to convince Shivaji Maharaj, telling, Maharaj, my son should be the successor, not Sambhaji. But Shivaji Maharaj was confused. But Raja Ram is 10 years old, said Shivaji Maharaj. Saurabai continued, he is still young, it is true, but he is loved by all the ministers and he didn't defect to the Mughal camp like your elder son. Shivaji Maharaj was silent, was thinking to himself, Sambhaji's brief dalliance with the Mughals has cast a slur on him. He will never be able to retrieve his character fully, and his detractors will make capital of it. But before making a final decision, Shivaji Maharaj fell mortally ill. Saurabai thought, I must keep the news from Sambhaji and take steps to ensure Raja Ram's succession to the throne. She wrote a letter to the Subedar of Panala and was telling the messenger, I want you to hand over this letter to Subedar only. This should not fall into Sambhaji Raj hands. Take care. But later the messenger ran into the very person he wanted to avoid at the foot of Panala hill. Oh my God, Sambhaji! Even as the messenger turned his horse around, Sambhaji spotted him. Strange, why is he trying to avoid me? So thought Sambhaji and followed him. Soon Sambhaji caught up with the messenger. Prince, I am carrying a message to the Subedar of Panala, said the messenger. Sambhaji said, why are you riding away from Panala? Then the messenger tried to hide the letter, but Sambhaji noticed it. Hand over the letter to me. Hand it over now. The messenger handed over the note. Yes, Prince, here it is. Oh my God, my father is ill. Shambhu Raj should not be allowed to leave Panala. My stepmother does not want me to know that father is ill. Instead of taking care of his health, she is taking steps to safeguard her son's interest. Meanwhile, in Rajghat, after Shivaji Maharaj's demise at a meeting of the Council of Ministers, Saurabai was manipulating the ministers. The Chatrapati died without naming his successor. It's for this council now to make the right decision. Saurabai said, whom shall we have as Chatrapati? The hot-tempered, ill-mannered defector Sambhaji or the young prince Rajaram? One of the ministers said, what was the late Chatrapati's opinion of his two sons, Rani Sahib? Saurabai said, my husband had ceased to trust his eldest son after his alliance with the Mughals. One of the ministers agreed, yes, that was a great betrayal. People have not forgiven Shamba Raj for that treacherous act. Rajaram would be a better choice. Rani Sahib, let's crown Rajaram. You could act as regent till the prince comes of age. Saurabai said, I think it's a wise choice, but we must see to it that Sambhaji does not create trouble. The minister said, he must be put under arrest before he learns about the Chhatrapati's sad demise. Saurabai agreed. Well, Sambhaji knows nothing yet about his father's illness. The Subedar of Panala has been asked to keep a watch on his movements. Saurabai did not know that at that very moment Sambhaji's spies were reporting the news to him at Panala. The spy messenger said, Prince, the Chatrapati is dead. Sambhaji was devastated. Oh my God, my father is dead. The messenger continued, and Rajaram has been crowned. Moropant and Annaji Datto, the ministers, are coming to Panala. The messenger hesitantly stopped. Sambhaji asked him, Yes, speak up. The messenger said, They are coming to place you under arrest. Later, Sambhaji thought to himself, Should I weep for my dead father or over my lost inheritance? Lost inheritance? Lost? Did I say? No, no. Saurabai shall not have her way. Sambhaji first prayed for his departed father in the holy river. Immediately after completing the rituals, Sambhaji took decisive steps to ensure his succession. He wrote a letter to Hamirao Mohite, the commander-in-chief. The letter said, By right, the throne belongs to me. It is not in the interest of the kingdom to have a mere child like Rajaram as the head of the state. Meanwhile, when the people heard of the coronation of Rajaram, they were talking. But the throne should go to Sambhaji Raj. He is the elder son, the right inheritant. The people and soldiers at Panala supported Sambhaji. They were cheering, We are with you, Shambhu Raj. You shall be the Chatrapati. Ignoring Rajaram's coronation, Sambhaji assumed the authority of the Chatrapati. He ordered, Instruct all the Subedars to report to me at Panala with their accounts. Sambhaji further consolidated his position by advancing 2 months' pay to his soldiers. The soldiers cheered him up. Victory to Sambhaji. Meanwhile, Hambirao, who had just returned to the capital from a tour, received Sambhaji's letter. He met Moropant and Annaji Datto and said, Rajaram is not the right choice. Can he stand up to the Mughals? Hambirao, do you think Sambhaji is trustworthy? He joined hands with the Mughals. We should not hold it against Sambhaji. The Chatrapati himself had forgiven him, said one of the ministers. But the Chatrapati was very unhappy with him. Hamirao, we have already crowned Rajaram. We can't go back on this. The ministers left Rajghat for Panala, but before they reached their destination, they were surrounded by Hambirao's men. Thus, the betraying ministers were arrested. On receiving the news, Sambhaji left for Rajghat with his army. On the way, he stopped at Pratapgarh to worship Tulaja Bhavani, the family deity. As he rode to Rajghat, his ranks swelled as more and more soldiers joined him. When he finally arrived at Rajghat with 20,000 men, he met with no opposition. The people were cheering, Victory to Shambharaj. Later in the kingdom, Hambirao, I don't know how to thank you for your help. Thus, Sambhaji was expressing his gratitude. Please don't, Maharaj, I have only done my duty, said Hambirao. When his old friend Kalash met him, Sambhaji said, Kalash, I have the unpleasant task of taking the conspirators into custody. I am particularly sorry about Rajaram. I know he is innocent. Kalash said, but you have to make him a prisoner also, or he may be used as a pawn again to complicate your succession. I am afraid you are right, Kalash. Sambhaji spent a few months in consolidating his position. Then, on the eve of his coronation, he took a momentous decision. Kalash, I have decided to release the conspirators. Kalash was asking, I only hope that they will appreciate your gesture. Sambhaji appointed Nilopant, son of Moropant, as the prime minister. Several other conspirators were given back their positions. On January 16, 1681, the coronation ceremony took place. Sambhaji, the son of the illustrious Shivaji Maharaj, succeeded him as the new Chatrapati. Another chapter had begun in the history of the Marathas. This is the seal of Sambhaji, the son of Chatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Any order adorned by it is inviolable forever.